Mic test, mic test.
Awesome.
On your seat. We will begin the debate in 5 minutes because they need a little more time too.
At this time, please find your seats. We will be starting in 5 minutes. We will be starting in 5 minutes.
Okay, we will be starting in exactly 2 minutes. If everyone can please find their seats and side conversation so we can start properly at 8:25. Thank you. All right, we're gonna go ahead and continue with the presidential debate. If my team wouldn't mind closing the doors, just so yeah, thank you guys. Apologies for the late start. We did have technical difficulties on the YouTube live stream, so we're trying to figure that out. But we are back. So we're going to go ahead and continue on with our questioning portion. So we're going to move on to our next question, specifically targeted to our vice presidential candidates. What is your slogan and what does it mean to you?
Hello. This is a really great question because this is really one of the first things that Pawn and I had to decide about our campaign was what our slogan was going to be. And we were kind of tossing around different ideas. You know, we wanted to make it kind of UCF night related. And we landed on our slogan being "Go for Gold." To this, for me, it really means striving to be your best. With the Olympics going on right now, the U.S. is bringing home, those gold medals, and that's really just like showing that all of their hard work is paying off. They've been practicing so long for these trials and doing the best at what they are committed to their sport, and really, it's paying off as they're going for gold and getting that golden medal. And really, that's what Pawn and I want to do, is that we want to really spread that message to the students that we're here at UCF during very transformative times of our life. And we really want to strive to be our best and go for that gold. And when making our platform, we wanted to implement ideas that would really help students be able to do the best that they can, helping out in any way that they may need, with a lot of different categories that our initiatives fall under, and reaching so many different areas that students may have problems or would like to see implemented on campus. And so I think that with keeping that going for gold mindset is really just striving to be the best student, the best friend that you can be here at UCF.
For us, I think Unite the Knights means so much more than just kind of what's on the surface. UCF is one of the largest universities in this country, and I think when people come to college, they are not just coming for an education, they're coming to find a community. And one of our main goals as a team is to not shrink campus for students, but to make it easier for campus, or make it easier for students to find those connections, those long lasting connections that last throughout college and after college as well. So United the Knights is something that we want to keep at the forefront because we want to include everybody here. Like I said, everybody's a knight. Everybody deserves that special experience while they're here. And that's something that we're going to keep at the forefront of our minds.
Thank you. I really love this question because we haven't gotten to bring up our slogan before, but we really have a two-pronged approach to what we think our slogan means. A golden opportunity for everyone. First, I'm going to start with golden standard for everyone. And for golden standards really means to us holding the student government to a golden standards and its students, because we want the best for both of them. And we want it to be transparent so that students know that the student government has their best interests at heart. So we want to hold them to a golden standard, making sure that everyone can see when we what we are doing for them. And not only that, we'll be having open records of the meetings in student government and actually having it updated. So students who are curious will be able to see the golden standard being in place. Now I'm going on to my second prong, for everyone. If for everyone is really important because we are going to have initiatives that impacts everyone's daily life. You've heard me say before, we've all had a bad day here. It may not just be because of school, it may be something external, but we want to make the little aspects of your bad day worse. And that's for everyone. Parking applies to almost every student. Walking in the rain applies to almost every student, which is why we have umbrellas. We're going to have umbrella rental from the library where you can borrow an umbrella and then you can give it back when it's raining. So you don't have to go to your class soaking. It's for everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your responses. For your next question, what does the process of picking a cabinet look like for you? How will it reflect the student body? Shiv, take it away.
Thank you, Supervisor, for that question. Honestly, going back to our slogan, Uniting the Knights, it's something that we cherish, and we want to carry that not only in our campaign now, but if we are to be elected into our cabinet. Everyone on our team, first, they have put in so much time and effort into their own college experience. They know what it is, what it's like to establish themselves and what it's like to work in a team. Like I mentioned before, collaborative leadership is something that Dwayne and I both really do cherish and something that we will look for if elected, of course. And, we want to see not only the traditional ways of student government, what's already been done, but the brand new ideas of what a student can possibly think of from so many perspectives, whether you're a transfer student, first generation student, or someone who's just a student. You don't need to have a specific background to have all these innovative ideas. And that is something that Dwayne and I are we will look for, especially in all the efforts that we've seen so far.
For sure. I think, like I mentioned at the beginning, how we built this campaign is by talking to students from different areas of campus. And we expect to do the exact same thing when looking for a cabinet, because that's where the best results come from. People that have different experiences, people that are in different majors and have different things to bring to the table, new ideas that me and Shiv might not think of. So I think that's going to be at the forefront of our minds when selecting who can serve on our cabinet and how they best can reflect the student body.
I love this question because the process of picking a cabinet for us will look very different than most other approaches taken. We want to consider both the student government perspective and average student perspectives, which means that if elected, our cabinet process will be very publicized, and we encourage as many students as possible to apply. Just because they aren't involved with student government doesn't mean that many students across campus don't have great ideas for how to improve this campus. And so by making this a very publicized process, a very interview intensive process, that will really allow the best of UCF students to shine. And it will allow a sense of a diamond in the rough, in the sense that students who may not traditionally apply for student government positions, for those who shoot for the stars and want to get started up in a very high up position in government, if they feel that they're qualified and they feel that they truly have something unique to bring to the table, that's exactly what we want to see, as it inspired the reason for why we wanted to run, because we felt we had a unique perspective that the student government may not see.
Just to tag on to that, and also to circle back to our slogan, we really want to implement the for everyone in the way we pick our cabinet. Because we are outsiders, we don't have to go through all the red tape and the bureaucracy that someone who may be entangled in student government ideas may have. We are having fresh ways of choosing a new cabinet. And not only that, we're having the golden standard when it comes to candidates, where we want to make sure they care about their campus and want to serve the people of this campus to the best of this ability and this great institution. Thank you.
Awesome. I really love this question because I've had the privilege of serving on cabinet for the past 2 years. And I would say when me and Athena, we have discussed this before. And one thing that we really wanted to emphasize if we make it that far is picking a cabinet that has a diverse group of thinkers. Because when you think about how large this population is, we have to focus on serving the diverse needs of our students. So, me and Athena's student experience is very limited, and we want the ability to expand our ways of thinking. And that starts with our cabinet. So that means having any non-traditional student. If you're a non-traditional student, I encourage you to apply to our cabinet. Graduate students, PhD students, transfer students, you name it. I seriously believe that, it's something that's very important for me and Athena to create an extensive, group of leaders that are passionate about the student body, because they know what it's like to be a student who needs help from student government. Thank you.
Hello. I'm going to piggyback off of what Pon said. We have actually discussed kind of what we want to look for in a cabinet if elected. And really what I want to drive home is that we really want to have a diverse student population. We want students that have had many different student experiences, people that don't have non-traditional students. We want to see and hear from so many different people in order to be able to reach a wider student population. And I think that that's very important when selecting a cabinet, is having all those different student perspectives so that we're able to work together and really serve as much of the student body as possible and getting that different outlook from people. And we really want to encourage as many people to apply to our cabinet as possible. I think it's a very sometimes a daunting thing to kind of do and put yourself out there, but we really want to encourage those to come out and join if elected.
All right, amazing. Thank you so much for answering that question. For your next question, how do you plan on addressing concerns that involve RSOs and Greek life on campus? Alyssa, take it away.
Again, another great question. As the secretary of an RSO myself, I know that reserving rooms and funding are the two main issues constantly being asked, is there a solution for? Again, these issues are very complicated. It involves a lot of internal funding, a lot of budget hearings in student government, but it's clear to most students that the current system is not working. So a major initiative in our campaign is a reform of the system, an audit involves a town hall style meeting between RSOs to see, hey, what kind of solution can we come towards? What kind of solution can we work towards that would work for more RSOs? I also love the Greek life question. I'm not currently involved with any sort of Greek life, but very important, underrated aspect of Greek life that I really appreciate is their charity work and their philanthropy. I believe that's something that should be more publicized and that should be more appreciated, as I believe it's sort of underappreciated and kind of undermentioned when it comes to our current campus. This can involve small sort of mentions, maybe a banner, but also we plan on organizing a sort of fun way to address the very important work that these Greek lives do. A sorority slash fraternity pool day, just something small to reward the selfless philanthropy that our Greek life currently does.
I definitely agree with what Alyssa had to say, and I want to piggyback on that when talking about our RSOs and the issues coming with tabling. A lot of issues come where you don't have the money, or a lot of RSOs don't make enough money to be comfortable to have a comfortable tabling. And so we want them to be able to apply to student government and have a system where they can be given a budget of $100 or something similar to be able to start their tabling. Because clubs are important, and RSOs are so important, and they should be able to get their message out there without having to worry about the monetary aspect. And again, I want to reflect on what Alyssa said about Greek life. Well, yes, we both are not in Greek life. We do appreciate the philanthropy it has to offer, and not only that, we do stand firm in the university's policies against hazing, and we want to be very clear on that and continue the anti-hazing campaign we have today, and also hanging up posters, maybe around frat houses, saying what hazing is and giving a hotline to call. Thank you.
Thank you for this question. I think me and Athena both really want to support RSOs and Greek lives in very vast ways, but I would like to say very quickly that the executive branch does not have discretionary power over club funding. That's a legislative branch power. So something that me and Athena would like to do instead is have our open door policy, which I know we've touched on a little bit before, but the open door policy allows for any RSO or student alone to reserve a time to meet with us and discuss things that are affecting their group or themselves as a student. And that's something that me and Athena are we're very concerned with, because we've seen, I would think, in previous administrations, ideas floated of 50 orgs in 50 days or 100 orgs in 100 days. And what we don't want to give necessarily preferential treatment to certain groups. We want to give every single group the ability to contact and to reach us. Furthermore, we understand that a lot of RSO's current issues reside in room reservations. That's why we have our room reservation implementation system, which we would work with the director of the student union. His name is Rick Falco. He currently has recently overtaken this role, right? So it's a very new system that we're all kind of like experiencing. And I think that's why we've had so many hiccups this year. So we would work and set up a meeting with him once we're elected to kind of determine what the current system looks like and how we can, as students, make it better.
And to add on what Pon said, as a member of Greek Life since 2023, I've been able to kind of have an inside look into how Greek Life works. And I know that there has been sometimes negative outlooks on that, but I think that through working with the Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life and being able to collaborate with them is a great first step in order to be able to address Greek Life concerns, and working with the OFSL to ensure that each organization is supported. Additionally, we'd also love to highlight the philanthropic work that each of these chapters do. And I think that that is something that is very overlooked amongst a lot of students, and a lot of people aren't even informed on that. And I think that that is a great thing that we would love to highlight and show that these organizations are really working to raise money and support great organizations. Additionally, we know that RSOs and Greek Life put in so much work into the events that they have. And with our initiative of expanding the current master calendar that we have to contain the RSO and Greek Life events here on campus is a great way to make sure all RSOs and other organizations feel as though they're being represented. And having this master calendar is a great way to have
30
visibility
seconds.
for these events that are going on, because I think that there is so much that goes overlooked, and RSOs are a great way for students to get involved. So having a way for students that are looking to see what else is going on campus is a great idea to have and very accessible for students to find.
If there's one thing that I've learned and experienced with my time in Greek life is that there is no easier way of connecting Greek life and student government. I think, going back to our slogan, Uniting the Knights, we are all one team, and making sure that these relationships between Greek life, RSOs, and student government is transparent and applicable to every Knight. Going back to the room reservation debacle, I'm personally in the Indian Student Association. There's over 200, 300 members. It's a little hard to find a room to meet in every week. Student leaders should not have to fight over a space to serve their members. And that is something that Dwayne and I will definitely prioritize, because it is absolutely necessary to figure out how are we going to meet the people that we represent. And actually, when the both of us joined SGLC, the administration that was in place, they had an initiative, 50 orgs in 50 days. We have learned so much in the past couple of years, and taking what we've learned and applying what works into our administration the next couple of years going forward is something that the Vicarian Jones campaign is looking forward to.
I 100% agree with that. And that's one of our goals going into this. I think it starts with building trust with these RSOs and Greek life organizations early on. As two people involved in Greek life and multiple RSOs, we understand that there's lots of challenges that they face, and we want to try to target as many as we possibly can. I know everybody kind of touched on the room reservation situation. I kind of want to touch on another aspect that we are targeting in our initiatives, which is tailgating, something that RSOs and Greek life both want to see improved. And we want to give funds to tailgating to better that experience by improving the tables and the tents that can be used during those events. So it's about working with those RSOs, working with Greek life chapters to better promote that. And then also when it comes to funding, also letting those RSOs know how to request funding through the legislative branch. So making sure they have all the requirements met, making sure they're ready to present, and informing them of what needs to be done so that they can get the funding that they deserve.
Okay, thank you so much. For the next set of questions, I'm going to hand it off to Assistant Supervisor Calloway.
Hello, everyone. Again, this question is a little long, so let me know if you need me to repeat it. A lot of the focus of running for presidential candidacy is the focus on being a voice for UCF students. However, not many people talk about your role as serving on the board of trustees. How would your experiences shape how you serve on this board? We can start with the audio ticket.
Thank you for this question. I think it's really important that we extend the view of the student body president to just serving the students, but also serving the students in the highest level of leadership, which is the university trustees. And for me, something that I've thought about a lot with this is not something that many people know about. So there's something called the Florida Student Association, and that is essentially all of the universities of Florida student body presidents. They get together and they create the Florida Student Association. That association elects a president. I can promise you that if I am elected as student body president, I will be going for the position of the president of the Florida Student Association, because what that does is give UCF students direct access to the Florida Board of Governors, which oversees all higher education in Florida. Additionally, working with university trustees, I would use my experience in student government and connecting with all of you daily to basically share the student perspective in that room. It's not going to be based off of what I see. It's going to be based off of what you all see and what you all bring to me. And that's specifically why we have the open door policy, The open door policy isn't just for the RSOs. It is for you as a singular student to come and share your perspective, because we do have the privilege of having access to the administrative rooms where decisions happen. And it's important that before we're voting on matters that affect students like tuition or the academic calendar, that we are understanding every student's perspective possible when we can make those decisions.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Assistant Supervisor, for that question. The experience that I've had in student government has been shortcommed. As a transfer student, I believe that having this outside perspective as to how UCF can be better, I came to UCF for more chances and to not only represent all 70,000 students in the Board of Trustees, but also keep excelling and making sure that, the title and prestige of presidency is not just that. It is not just a title. There is true advocacy and thought behind, being the youngest person in the room, sometimes being the only woman in that room. And when we go in that room and, speak on behalf of all 70,000 students, we want to make sure that not only with UCF, but all colleges in Florida are well advocated for and have a seat at that very important table.
Thank you.
Such a great point bringing up that we represent more than 70,000 students. I think what I can bring to this role as serving on the Board of Trustees is, again, what we've highlighted in our initiatives so far, transparency. What does the average UCF student not know only about student government, but what's happening on the board? Again, these are decisions being made that impacts UCF students. I would approach it very similar to how I would approach being UCF president or UCF student government president. Being transparent with students. What's the current initiatives being voted on? What's being discussed? And how can I better suit students' needs? I know that being a voice for UCF students, that may be an overdone talking point, but I believe it's such an important one. And I believe it's something that we all cherish very deeply. And it's something that I will continue to do.
Thank you so much. On to our next question. Beyond programming and student life initiatives, what academic improvements or instructional innovations would your administration prioritize? We can start with Shiv and Dwayne.
I love this question because I got to see it from inside out. Working at the Writing Center, you see academic issues every day. I am able to meet with students on a day-to-day basis knowing what truly ruins their day academically. And so sometimes it's their professors, sometimes they don't understand the assignment. And so carrying that perspective into student government, knowing that, these are the true concerns of what UCF students really have. And an example that Dwayne and I have worked on actually is the T30 fair. This is something that we want to pursue because, UCF, again, it is one of the largest schools in the nation. And so when we connect the top 30 schools to UCF and bring them here, we open up opportunities not only for Knights, but for the school in general to make sure that our pride and our school spirit gets out there, and we know that our Knights will be successful academically and professionally. And that's one thing. As academic affairs coordinator, I have first-handedly seen how important it is to advocate for scholarships and advocate for all sorts of academic events here on campus. There's an event that I'm working on, TEDx UCF. I have worked months to bring an opportunity like this to UCF, to bring a stage to UCF students to make sure that they have a platform that they deserve on a national scale as well.
Thank you.
Those were both great points. And I just want to add on by saying two big things that we want to present as well. Transcript vouchers. Students that have to pay for those, we want to lessen that for them, or if they are eligible, maybe not pay anything at all for that. That is transcripts when students are applying to grad school or higher education programs that they need when they're leaving UCF, or when they might request them when they're currently a student. And then also increasing the number of academic advisors. There's no reason students should be waiting extensive amounts of time to meet with an advisor to where it starts affecting their graduation or their enrollment for classes. So for each college, we want to work with the university on increasing the number of academic advisors. That way it's easier for students to meet with them and get the support that they need throughout the year.
I want to highlight that I came to UCF as a business major, And one weakness that I saw in the business program was the lack of teaching students skills on how to network. I believe that's one of the most important things that comes to college, the ability to network, the ability to grow your LinkedIn connections, the ability to just be able to have professional conversations with people. And that's why a huge initiative that I was so proud and so like willing to be able to implement is the ability to have workshops where students can learn these important skills that may not be taught traditionally in classrooms and students are expected to pick up on their own. I believe that being allowing students to have more easier access to connections through career fairs, giving them more opportunities to hone their skills, these instructional innovations are so crucial to this university just because of how crucial networking is in our current world as we speak. Thank you.
Going off this point, I always think I think our programs and our student life initiatives do reflect in your academic improvements. We have an initiative we haven't talked about yet where we would have the form to report harassment that you may experience in the classroom in all the student wellness kits you receive as a freshman or any other year when you walk by the student center. The reason we do this is because if you are being harassed, that affects your academic improvements, that affects your performance, especially if it's in the classroom. We want students to be able to feel comfortable and know how to do this. So we break down those barriers to reporting and making sure that they can get to their academic level that we know they can achieve. And not only that, our other programs and student life initiatives do impact your academic improvements, like the shuttle tardy passes we have mentioned. I failed a quiz because my shuttle took too long and I wasn't allowed to take the quiz again. That it directly affected my grade, dropping it by a letter. This is something that directly reflects almost anyone who takes the shuttle's academic improvements if we can get this done. Thank you.
Thank you all. Now moving on to I think this is our 9th question, almost getting there. But oh, my apologies. I'm so sorry.
Sorry about that. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so just to kind of circle back to this last question. I'll make it quick, don't worry. I really like this question because I had the opportunity to work directly on this as academic affairs coordinator last year. And I just want to touch on one thing that I had a chance to work with, and that's the emergency textbook fund. It's currently student government currently does not offer it, but last year we did. And in my time as academic affairs, I was able to provide a service for students that essentially would provide textbook aid for students who are in emergency situations. And if we're elected, I really would love to bring that idea back because it was able to serve so many students in such a great way. And we want to help students who are in financial crises so that they can focus on their academics, which is what's most important. 2 other initiatives that I kind of want to touch on, and I think we'll take a couple more. But the first one is our Wi-Fi expansion. I think everyone can attest to, especially during that first week of classes, the Wi-Fi on campus is extremely unreliable. And me and Athena really want to work with UCF administration to look at the expanding the network that we have on campus. I know that there's like I don't know exactly what they're called, but there's like kind of Wi-Fi boosters, if you will, that you can put in certain dead spots on campus. And we really want to try to implement those and increase the amount of Wi-Fi that's available on campus. Because when you're here on campus, you should be able to take a test all the way through and not experience one singular interruption because of your Wi-Fi. I think that's very important for students who are coming to campus to complete their academics. Then I also want to touch on our Night Shadow expansion plan. If you don't know what Night Shadow is this really great program that Career Services actually taught me. I'm a student advisor for Career Services. That's kind of how I first learned about this program. But it's currently, a very small serving program, and we want to expand that. Night Shadow essentially connects students in their hometowns to internship shadowing experiences. So it's something that you can do when you're on spring break, or if you're going home for the summer, or if you're going home over the month of December for winter break. It's things that it's opportunities like that where you can go home and you can shadow career professionals in your own hometown. And this Night Shadow experience, I think not many students actually have. So what me and Athena want to do is we want to expand the amount of opportunities available by using your student demographics of your hometowns, looking at opportunities that are there and connecting you directly to them.
I think that this is a great question because at the end of the day, we are all here to be students and focus on our academics and get that degree. One initiative that Pon and I have is bringing back the 24-hour study spaces. In the past, the library used to be open for 24 hours, but the dean of the libraries, Bo Case, decided that it cost too much to run and not enough students utilize that space. But we kind of believe differently. We think that this is something that students would really benefit from. And so we would like to do a trial run kind of during midterms and finals to prove to the library and to the students that this is a good resource to have and it's worth our funding from. Additionally, with the library, we want to have a new library table sharing system. I don't know about you guys, but I do a lot of laps around the library just to find one spot, and sometimes a whole table is taken up by one singular person. So having a system implemented where, say, a student is sitting at a table individually, but is welcome to sharing that space with others while they work on their work individually is a great way to utilize space on campus and bring back that little community.
30 seconds.
Lastly, one other thing that I'm going to touch on is our test prep aid, which offers partial reimbursements to standardized test prep. Personally, I will be taking the LSAT very much soon, and these tests are very expensive, and going to take them we should have programs that offer reimbursement and ways for students to get money back. Because at the end of the day, we are here to graduate and we are here to continue on, and having a reimbursement for those tests you have to take would be very beneficial to a lot of students.
Thank you. All right. So moving on to our next question. How do you intend to deal with situations when your personal beliefs or opinions conflict with the student opinion? We can start with Alyssa and Anna.
I think this is such a great question, especially on a college campus where we all come from many different places in Florida, outside of the United States. My personal beliefs for what I believe student government should be can very differently differ from other students' beliefs on how student government should operate. We are seeing it on the stage even now. And that's why I think taking it all in, taking in what other people's priorities should be, or taking in different ideas for initiatives that other students may have that I may not consider. I think that's so important to consider because it's not my way or the highway. No, it's UCF students' ways or the highway because it's a campus for students and by students and a student government that's made up of students, many of whom have very different ways of life, very different day-to-day issues, but we're all united by the fact that we're UCF students and we all have very similar goals and or very similar ways that we want to see this campus run and are the outcomes of our education.
Yeah, and I think one of our initiatives that really reflects this idea is going back to our RSO tabling. While yes, we would be working in tandem with the legislative branch to give funding to them, we don't have to reflect the opinions of those who are tabling. That is not up to us. That we are giving funding, and well, the legislative branch is giving funding to people who of all different beliefs and all different thoughts from those different clubs. And yes, we have our open ear policy just for this exact thing to happen because our opinion might not be your opinion. So tell us your opinion and that will be our opinion because we are supposed to be vessels for you to get your thoughts out, not for our school to be a better place to reflect the needs of its students. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a really great question. And I think, having the experience that I have and being in student government for the past 3 years, I have had, a lot of opportunities to represent students in the rooms that they are not able to be in. And that means working with UCF faculty, working with departments, and working with administrators. And I think that the mindset that I've always taken with this is ensuring that I'm representing not just myself, but the 70,000. That it's not about me and what I think, but what others think. And I think one thing that I really like to take with this is gaining perspective. I think that's the biggest thing with this is asking students, what do you think about this? And, whether that's talking with my friends or with, students that we meet on occasion in our student government office or working events. I think it's really important to gain perspective before we enter the spaces that we're privileged to be in. Additionally, student government is nonpartisan and fully funded by the students. So what that means is that we are not allowed to interject our personal opinions or political beliefs in any student government space. And that's something that me and Athena can assure that we will do if we are elected. Also, if we are elected as student body president and vice president, have the opportunity to advocate for you and the local, federal, and state level. That means going up to Tallahassee and going up to DC to share with our legislators what UCF students believe. And that's where you guys come in. We need you all to speak up and to use our SBA committee, speak out and, answer our surveys and make sure that your voice is heard, because when we enter those rooms, we want to be prepared with what you all think and what you all believe so we can best represent you.
I think, Pawn, you did a great job at really explaining that answer. I think you did really good. But I think our main point here is that we are here to represent all students, and we're not here just to do one certain belief or like one specific perspective. And I think that that is what being elected student body president and vice president kind of gives us. It gives us that chance to be in those rooms with those faculty, with that staff, in order to give them the student perspective and what is going on. Personally, like in faculty senate, if elected as the student body vice president, it offers me a way to be in that room with those professors and administration and be able to hear what they're saying and their point of views on what students are saying, and also being able to offer that student perspective. And I think that dealing with conflict is tough, but knowing that there's not just one answer or one belief that we all follow, but making sure that everyone feels represented and supported is what is most important.
Thank you.
The one thing that I absolutely love about UCF when I first came here is how many diverse voices there are. And 70,000 students, everyone's going to disagree. Everyone's going to have, their piece of cake when trying to advocate for themselves. And I think that's why, Dwayne and I have worked so extensively on our initiative list and making sure that every single voice is well accounted for. And actually, going back to our slogan once again, uniting the Knights, that's the whole point of this. We are here not only to advocate for 70,000 people, but to merge it into one voice, essentially. 70,000 voices come from all of us together as a team, and making sure that, all kinds of opinions and perspectives are not only valued, but respected and also shown at higher administration and, the Vicari and Jones campaign team.
That was well said by Shivani. I think that our personal beliefs go out the door when it comes to these roles, and if we were elected to them. I would add on by saying student opinions, and I wouldn't frame it as conflict, but a difference in thought is welcomed with us. I think that's a sign of healthy democracy, a sign of that things are going right, and that we're hearing what students really feel and how we can come to a happy medium, essentially. So our job is to listen to those concerns, listen to those thoughts, and essentially turn them into action and turn them into something that can benefit our university.
Thank you all again. The next question is, if there were no title, no recognition, and no resume boost, would you still want this position, and why? Just to let everyone know, this is our last question before closing statements. We can go ahead and start with Claudia.
1000% yes. I have watched this position take place with other individuals. And honestly, every single moment and every single challenge and every single idea that I've seen them go through and, be presented with, and every challenge that they're faced with, I have only loved this position more. Seeing and hearing the perspectives of, former university trustees and former student body presidents, and the rooms that they get to be in, and the conversations and the topics of matter, it truly interests me so much. I'm here at UCF studying political science, not to go to law school, but actually to dedicate my life to public service. And what that means for me is my dream job actually is working for the Department of Education. So this job specifically aligns with the career that I want to pursue the rest of my life. And the reason why I'm here is not for the prestige or for the resume boost. It is because I love this work. I've done student government work since high school, and it has only made me grow a deeper love and a deeper appreciation for the student body.
Of course, yes, of course I would love to do this. I don't think the title or the recognition of the resume at all is what drives me to pursue this with Pawn. I think that if you're doing it for the status, then your heart is really not in it. And I can say that my heart is fully in this. I know I talked about this a little bit earlier, but I do have an overwhelming passion for service. And this is the ultimate way to serve the student body and really to give back. And I think that this is what it's all about. I think that being able to look back even at the end of our term if elected and knowing that we made a change is really what is satisfying me, and knowing that what we're doing, if we get to do it, is really making a difference and paying back. I think that that is really what drives me forward for this position, is just knowing that I can help others. And I've always been someone that has to get involved. I've never been someone who can just sit back and watch other things happen. I'm always very eager. I've always been that way. Growing up, I've inserted myself in any leadership opportunity possible, and that does not stop. When I came to college, immediately getting involved in so many different organizations, whether it was SGLC, ELC, Greek Life, Kappa or Kappa Alpha Pi. Just getting involved on campus has been really my thing, and serving others. And I think that that doesn't stop here. And with this position, it really is a way to really serve and fulfill that passion and fill my cup.
As I mentioned before at the beginning of this debate, service has been at the forefront of my whole entire life ever since, my mom and I, we grew up very close together, and starting the nonprofit Scripted Futures Foundation. Ever since I was in middle school and high school, I have collectively donated 10,000 books to little kids in my community. And that is just a side hustle. No strings attached, no money, no prestige. It is just something that I do to make myself feel accountable for the people next to me and for my community. And so carrying that into student government, I don't think this was ever in the books when I first came to UCF. And so I just feel so blessed to even, sit here with these amazing candidates and making sure that UCF has, proper representation. If there was no title, if there was no prestige, it's very easy to get stuck up in the prestige of this position. But, I think the answer is obvious. We are doing this from the bottom of our hearts, and we know what it's like to take a chance on UCF, and we sure do hope that UCF is able to take a chance on us. So thank you.
That was really well said. Again, I always joke with Shiv and our friends and say that if you told us that we would be sitting on this stage a few years ago, we would have said you're insane. But we're here and we want to make a difference. And it's not about the title. It's not about the recognition. For me, my path to UCF wasn't ideal, and it wasn't the perfect golden road, but I'm here. And since I've gotten on this campus, I've always wanted to make a difference. And that's what drives me, my love for this campus, my love for this student body. And I've held student government roles in high school. I've held other leadership roles in other organizations, but student government means the most to me because of the lasting impact that I can have on not just the people around me, but the 70,000 students part of this university. And for me, joining student government when I got to UCF, it was to build community. It was to find people of like-minded and similar beliefs, essentially, of wanting to help others. And in this position, if I can help even one student find that here at UCF, whether they're coming in as a freshman or a transfer or they're an online student, if I can just help one student find the fulfillment that I have from this university, that would be more than enough for me.
I'm going to continue to echo a resounding yes. I would absolutely want this position, even if there was no title, no resume boost, no prestige. Because this position, we didn't run for it out of ego or a sense that we can run student government better. We wanted to run for this position because we felt that we truly had a unique perspective that maybe UCF student government hadn't seen before. But even if we aren't elected, that doesn't matter to us. What matters to us is being able to speak with you guys, being able to have these ideas be put on a bigger stage, because bringing recognition to them, to those ideas that value students who may not otherwise be spoken to, that's what's important. And no outcome of an election can take that away from us, because it truly is our most important goal to make sure that students are heard and that students can feel represented at UCF.
I want to continue echoing the thought of absolutely, of course we would. We are doing this for the student who got caught in the rain before their exam and now they're shivering and they can't hold their pencil trying to fill out the bubbles on their Scantron. We are doing this for the girl walking out of the dining hall who's scared to walk to Apollo because it's so dark in that path. We are doing this for people who get caught on the shuttle and have to miss their exams and lose a grade that they could have earned themselves because their professor didn't believe them with the shuttle shutting down. We are here for the girl who finds herself in sudden need of a menstrual product. We are here for you. We aren't here to boost our own resume for our own ego, as my running mate has said. We are here to make the little parts of your day better. And the idea of even just having a little bit better parking would be worth it, because that's something that affects everyone, which goes back to our slogan, the golden standard for everyone. This is what the golden standard means to me: a better every day for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you all. I am now going to pass it off to the Supervisor of Elections to conclude our closing statements.
All right. So thank you so much for answering all those questions, candidates. At this time, we're going to move into closing statements. Each of you will have 5 minutes to kind of just give your final remarks. We will start with Alyssa and Anna to start us off in regards to closing statements.
First of all, I just want to thank everyone for coming out. I see all the shirts in the front of each rows, and I'm so grateful that even if you aren't here to support us, you're here to support your fellow students. I know it means a lot to them, and I want to thank everyone that we know as well for coming out to support us as well. And I also want to thank everyone at home for watching, whether that you're watching it live or watching a replay. Just the fact that you would take time to either watch us or use us as a sort of podcast when you do your homework, I greatly appreciate it. And again, I want to highlight our initiatives. It's student government transparency, making sure that you know that with or what's being done with your activity and service fee that you pay as a part of your tuition. Student quality of life that we focus on in many initiatives in improving the everyday students. And then also student jobs, as we recognize that is an important sort of aspect of college life that's kind of undervalued in certain goals that we've seen in student government. Again, we're so grateful for the chance to be able to share our perspectives with everyone. We're so grateful for the chance to hear from student perspectives. And we're so grateful for the chance to even be on the stage right now. I also want to have one last thank you to the 100 signatures that we needed in order to qualify to run. That's 100 people, whether you were going to vote for us or not, that believed in our ability to run and believed in our initiatives. And I want to thank all of you guys. And I hope to see your continued support for the Phage Ellis 26 ticket.
If there's one word I want you to take away from our campaign today, it is the word actionable. What we are imposing is short-term and then going into long-term actionable plans. For example, in our lighting, we will be using garden lights you can get at Walmart for $5. That is actionable. We are doing, if we're parking, we're not building a whole parking garage at first. We are relabeling parking spots so more students can park in them. That is actionable. What we are doing is we are having menstrual products in bathrooms. That takes 2 days. That's actionable. We are having jobs, campus jobs be more applicable. That's sending out emails, that's putting up posters. Those are things that don't cost an obscene amount of money that requires us to build infrastructure. That is actionable. And on top of these actionable plans, we'll build longevity. But this will impact you if you are here next semester, if you elect us into a vice president and a presidential candidate for the student government. We do really appreciate you all coming out, whether it be for us or against us or in neutral. We are just glad you are here so we can see some faces in the crowd, because otherwise, without you, this wouldn't be happening. It'd just be us awkwardly at a table talking. Thank you.
I also want to echo similar sentiments. Thank you all for coming here tonight. It's been a long night, and you basically made it through. We're almost at the end, and it's super important that you're here today. Me and Athena are so grateful that you took your evening and spent it with us, hearing about all of our ideas and all of our platform initiatives, and the reason why we're up here today. I also want to close with why I love UCF so much. The UCF community has truly invested so much into me. And I'm so grateful that every opportunity that I've had, from being a freshman in the Lake Claire dorms all the way up until now being a resident assistant in Libra, I have loved every minute of being here at the University of Central Florida. And the only wish that I have is to spend my senior year serving you all and giving back to the community that has invested so much in me. Me and Athena really believe that you all should go for gold because our platform is built on attainable ideas that we know that we can accomplish or we can set up for success in future administrations. You all have a choice from March 9th to March 11th to make a vote and decide who you want to be your next student body president. I believe me and Athena are the best choice because we are the most prepared, the most experienced, and the most excited for this. Thank you.
I'm going to piggyback off of what Pon said, but I just want to thank you guys all again for coming out. I hope you guys got to know a little bit more about Pon and I know I've been very nervous here speaking. I'm not a big public speaker, but I hope you guys can see past that and see my passion and my qualification for this role, and that you guys are going to vote, and use your voice as a student. You guys are all here because you guys are interested in either one of the tickets, two, all three, and that's an amazing opportunity that you guys have, is to use your student voice and vote in this election. I also would like to talk a little bit about why I love UCF, because that is why we're all here. In UCF, it has just given me so much opportunity. Coming from a small town, I was really scared at first coming to UCF with so many students, and I was really worried I wasn't going to be able to find my place. But I was quickly mistaken. UCF has given me nothing but community. It has given me ways to meet new people through different clubs, organizations, living in a dorm. It has just offered me so many experiences that I am just so thankful for. It has given me a way to broaden my horizons and meet new people and have so many new experiences. And I think that that is something that we all can share and we can all can relate on as a certain level, that from being a student here at UCF is just the amazing community that it really has. And I just am so thankful to be running here, just given this opportunity to be up on this stage and really talk about what changes we want to make and what we are passionate about has just been such a pleasure. And like Pon said, we really hope that you guys go for gold.
Well, first off, I just want to say thank you to every single one of you that has come out tonight. I know with midterms, life gets a little busy, but seriously, we can't thank you enough for coming out and supporting the democratic processes of student leadership here at UCF. I think, Dwayne and I, again, going back to our slogan, Uniting the Knights, I like to joke with him and I say, that's not just the two of us that are running. We as UCF Knights are running. We want to make sure that every single voice that we come across is heard, seen, and respected. We want to make sure that, student government transparency, not only with, what we've experienced so far, but everything that we have to learn. In regards to our initiatives, it's always a growing list. We are so open to constructive criticism, and we want to hear what we can do to make them better. We are here for you, and we want to make sure that every single one of your interests and concerns are well advocated for. March 9th to 11th is a stressful but fun time for all of us, and I am so excited for you all to make informed decisions to make sure that you are properly advocated for and making sure that you are uniting the Knights with the Vicarian Jones administration.
Shivani hit the nail on the head, but I just want to finish by saying thank you to all of you that are here. You could have been anywhere, but you're here. For those of you that are watching, thank you for watching. For us, this is so much more than just these titles in this office. It's about serving this incredible university that's given us so much and given us each other, honestly. So I would say to those that are going to vote, those that are choosing to entrust us with their vote, just know that it will not be wasted. And one of the greatest joys of this campaign so far, and I can't wait to keep doing it, is meeting UCF students and UCF Knights who are proud to be Knights and who want to see changes. We want to hear from you. We want you to approach us. Tell us what you think. Tell us what we should change. Tell us what we should add. Tell us what you want to see in the coming year, because that's what this campaign is built around again. This isn't from me and Shivani. This is from the students that we've met with. This is from the students that we've talked to. And these are the collective ideas that we've cultivated from that we're ready to introduce and bring to this incredible university. So again, if you're deciding to entrust us with your vote, know that it will not be wasted, and we cannot wait to get to work.
All right, a round of applause for our candidates. Okay, so before I finally formally conclude tonight's activities, I want to give a huge shout out to my team, the Election Commission, especially our event manager back there, Commissioner Mello, who has been managing the event and the presentation slides. And I want to thank you all for being here as well. But yes, this concludes tonight's debate. Candidates, thank you so much for being here. You guys are more than welcome to take pictures, but unfortunately, we have the room until 10. I'm not saying that you have to go home, but you can't stay here. But thank you guys so much for coming out.